Welcome everybody to Ape Squad Sunday Pug Day. We got some banger games coming up. We're bringing back the series for pugs for the people every Sunday, 8 to 10 p.m. EST. We got a banger of a lineup, as I already stated, and I'm Sensoyo. I got my co-caster Dread here. How we doing?
Yo, what's up? I'm doing good, man. I'm so excited. Sunday Pug Day. Let's get it.
Sunday Pug Day's back, and we're excited. Maybe we'll get those games later on in the jungle, in the series, in the pugs. But otherwise, we're going straight in. HML versus HML, I think, but we'll see. And Dread, press A to see the overlay.
Word.
And here we go, hopping right in. We're going up to the high ground. The pink team going to be taking some presence up on this hotel right above one.
Yeah. Let's see what we got going on here. It looks like we got Charge and Slam on pink team as well.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty interesting. That dome shield dropping really early. Now we're going to be just looking for some early shots from the orange team. They'll be trying to make their approach. I'm not sure where their light is. Just coming up on the flank with playing that invis. Great to see that. Going to be dropping in, getting that kill on Crimson, and following it up.
Wow, explosive fight starting out already here. We got one down on pink team. Trying to chase him here. Calcifer coming back up on top. Calcifer actually running invis, opting not to take dash here. Kind of interesting.
Yeah, and that's going to be the beauty of these pugs, seeing all these off-meta picks. I do think light invis is coming a little bit back in the scene right now, just because thermal, it does have a place in the meta. It just really depends on the value in the map, I think. I think it's really map dependent.
Yeah, Orange Squad finally tapping the vault here. Team just kind of struggling to get that body, but they found Serial. Serial ends up going down. It's only Crimson now. Does end up defibbing VZO though. VZO is back up. He's gonna try to play his life here. Trying to get away. He's 1 HP. Doesn't quite make it out. And a team wipe goes out for pink team. Boundless is gonna now move this vault.
Yeah, getting that early wipe is going to be a great advantage. Not only do the vault has already been tapped, but now they're able to gateway right on over to B, get this plug, and deny. They have plenty of time to set up. They're about to get that plug right onto B. It's going to be interesting to see where they spawn. I know the spawn algorithms have changed. I think they're going to go spawn over there. Yep, over on the top.
What do you call that? Alleyway side?
Spoos building. Going to be rotating back up to this high ground.
Oh, big shots coming out from the BFR there. Serial's taking lots of damage. They're trying to hide behind. Look at Calcifer there, just sitting perched up on there in the invis. They don't know he's there, I don't think. He's waiting patiently. There he goes. Crimson's going to end up, almost going down. Doesn't quite finish him, though. He's going to get healed up. Both of them are still low. VZO trying to get back to his team up here.
And we're just going to be posturing up on this high ground. Serial gets taken out from Brandy. CB1 repeater. Some team shots in combo with CC. That's going to be great damage. VZO also gets taken down. The pressure is on. And it looks like the Boundless Orange team going to be rocking in and pushing in. Going to collapse right on top of Crimson. And it's just going to be Serial left. Cleaning up. Nothing left to eat in that bowl of cereal there.
Man, Calcifer just sitting up there in invis. He waited for so long to get the pounce on somebody there. And they have a lot of burst damage with the CB1 repeater as well on that team.
Yeah, now we're just going to be posturing back up. They know exactly where they're going to spawn. This winch does move that box just quite a little bit. And now they spawn over on that pad side. Going to be rotating in from a different angle. Not sure if they're privy to this, but Calcifer sitting back up on that high ground on that post, just sitting there in his. I'm going to try and rotate over. Pink team making their way into this low ground inside this building. Gonna try and get those heals off. VZO gets healed just a little bit, but may not be enough because Serial is now under pressure. Calcifer sitting up on this balcony, making some great pot shots on to this team, but they do secure that point. Very difficult for the pink team to even make their approach.
Yeah, pink team kind of struggling to really find where they're hiding here. Brendy and Calcifer kind of opted for this 2v2. Brendy ends up going down in the 2v2. But CC wins the heavy 1v1.
Yeah, it
Or,
looks like
sorry, heavy
Cosper,
versus medium against Crimson there.
Cosper now gonna go aggressive on the Serial, gets taken out. Serial wins that light 1v1, and now VZO gonna be attacked by CC. That charge stack coming out full force.
Here comes the charge and slam.
Taking him out. Holy.
Oh man, winched right into a charge and slam to take him out.
I'm not sure that's what he was
the first box, but they win the fight. Yeah, I don't know if he wanted to winch a charge and slam right into his face there. But Pink Team's going to take that fight, even though they lost the box. They're going to get to tap this vault here.
And now this early tap, a gateway on the cache. Going to be able to rotate it out, activating that. Looks like they're going to rotate towards A very quickly. But behind them, behind that cache, it's going to be Orange Team spawning back in this high ground, offering some great advantage for Pink Team. Going to be able to get this plug before Orange even has an opportunity to contest that high ground as they rotate away over into NGMO building.
Yeah, they're going to try to get this in there as quick as they can. Orange Team is going to try to collapse on them before they really get time to set up here, but they did get that plug. Brendy's kind of scouting alone. Orange Team playing really split from each other here. CC Winnen's finding some people running the shack there, looks like, on the heavy. Here comes the pad coming out. Big RPG onto CC. CC's low. He ends up going down, but they trade both heavies. Calcifer ends up taking out Serial. Now it's only Crimson. He's going to get a fib off onto Serial, though. Serial half health. Now it's a 2v2 again. See if we can
and while that fight broke out, Orange Team did get the flip on this point. And now it's a 2v2 yet again.
Serial's just trying to do his best to stay alive there. Big repeater damage. Crimson ends up going down in 2 shots, and they end up getting that team wipe over on Pink Team.
Yeah, that invis kind of being a little bit of an X factor. They were still in a 2v3 scenario because while the fight broke out, Brendy was busy stealing the cash out. I'm not sure how they lost that 2v3. I guess it's just Calcifer kind of popping out at the right moment. Perfect timing from him. And Brendy was able to clean up after, get that support perfectly timed.
Yeah, Calcifer used that invis really well, sitting in some kind of obscure spots with that invis there. I don't really know if they really have an idea on where to look for him, just because, like, look at where he's sitting right now. I don't know, like, who's going to walk up and just look right there on top of that billboard. Crimson takes a little bit of damage off of that invis, though. They're going right for the point.
This is going to be difficult. We have Orange Team posted up on this high ground. An early dome comes out. That is not going to be a good sign. Now, no utility available for defense. Going to have to use goo, but all these mines surrounding this point is going to be a doozy. Gas mines going off, gas barrels going off, those pyro mines going up, and a final winch comes out from CC to stall that.
Yeah, they don't really have a winch over there on Pink Team, so they don't have a lot of ways to move that cash box over. Orange Team taking the first game.
Yeah, Orange Team going to be taking that game. And now, moving on to the next lobby. Obviously, for fun, Seoul, I think, was a more fun map than Kyoto, but for competitive integrity...
Okay,
you know,
I see where you're coming from. Yeah, that's
Kyoto
a good point.
better.
Yeah, that's a good point. I like kind of discerning it from competitive playstyles to a more, like, open, ranked playstyle.
Yeah. And here we go. Going to be starting this match off. Pink teams get a better spawn over to 1. They're going to have a easier time getting a tap, setting up. I don't think they know exactly where they are. They're expecting them on the bridge, but they get surprised. They have to turn around. Now, getting shot from the back.
Yeah, huge damage coming out here. They dropped that dome shield. Yeah, both teams doesn't really want to fully commit here. We have some crazy comps running here. We got just a normal LMH on the boundless, but we have double heavy medium on the live wires over here. So double heavy with the heal beam, 1 running charge, 1 running winch. Looks like Jeff Buckley is going to opt to go get that tap. And while he does that, though, he loses his medium. Supreme ends up going down to Criminal and the BFR from CC. And now they want to pad on this. They want to get in there and find the rest of this team.
An early tap doesn't really help them. It really just forces that split. They want to get this game going. Double dome going down. Calcifer eats a little bit of an RPG, but he's going to be looking healthy. as we see that SA-12 heavy Jeff Buckley gonna make that rotation to try and get that reset on his teammate Supreme. Orange team just vying for the space. Criminal definitely heard that res, and now VZO in a 1v1 against Calcifer.
Yeah, VZO was trying real hard to connect on a Criminal with that charge and slam, but he wasn't quite able to get it. But Jeff Buckley connects with the winch, though. Criminal ends up going down. Now all three of Pink Team is up. They're going to try to push this on the Calcifer and CC. RPG coming out, but it doesn't really connect, just drops Supreme. And now they're going to push this in a 3v2.
Yeah, they're all getting collapsed on. It's not looking good for Calcifer and CC. Calcifer now on the run, just going to have to take the L, I think, on this one.
Yep. Kind of a long fight, but Pink Team ends up getting the team wipe there. Double heavy medium, I feel like, is a really hard team comp to like duel into. I mean, they just have so much sustain, especially with that heal beam. They have such big health pools. It's really hard to fight into that, especially when you lose your light to a winch in the beginning of the fight.
Yeah, I agree. We needed to see Orange Team capitalize and camp that medium body. Once you get that medium down, everything becomes a lot easier for you to kind of just tick away on the damage towards that double heavy comp. So really needed to capitalize on that medium tick there. But now Supreme kind of on his own. They may be able to capitalize on this. Supreme a little bit of a dead zone. Blocks the RPG with that goo, but a winch comes out. VZO gonna get winched away from his team, gonna be rotating back downstairs, and now Calcifer cutting them off.
Yeah, here comes the big sustain coming out of Pink Team because they are doing so much damage, but they're all half health. They're just gonna heal it right back up, and we do get another winch in on Calcifer. Goes down. Criminal's 1 HP, but so is Jeff Buckley. Jeff Buckley trying to chase to get that kill. Doesn't end up connecting with him, though. Criminal ends up getting back up. CC's in a standoff here with VZO.
Now VZO going for the res, gonna get caught off guard. CC doesn't get the stop on the res with the winch, but ends up stopping it with just the sheer presence. Does get taken out in that whole interaction. Criminal now needing to wait for that coin. Calcifer sitting back, Criminal just gonna end up killing himself. That's an interesting play, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I do think it's probably best to coin. Would have been a lot quicker.
Yeah, I agree. There's not a lot of time left on the cash out here to be going for a full reset. That's going to add a lot of extra time on his teammates' respawn as well. But they do have a little bit of time for one extra push. They got to get in there quick, though.
Yeah. Just spawned in over towards that museum corner. Gonna be rotating in. A pad gateway comes out from Criminal. Gotta get that team in fast. Make it fast and aggressive. Needs an early pick if they want the best chances at stealing this cash out. Gonna be stopping that free drop now. Everything knocked away. Winch get back up another level.
Ooh.
It does kind of teeter down. It stays up. They're wasting so much utility to get this stop. No time left, though. They need to hop on that and ride that down, but CC and Calcifer go down. Criminal had no opportunity to get on that.
Yeah, I like the vision, though. I like trying to winch it back up there so that they can try to get a little bit of extra time, a little bit of extra cover to try to go for that steal. Unfortunately, he winched it a little too far and it fell off the other side. But still, it was a good play. And still anybody's game here. Only one cash out in. Pink do take the lead here.
Yeah, and now gonna be... Are they just carrying the body? What is this, a trophy? He's taking a trophy for his winnings. I don't know, but they finally get his Supreme back up. I don't know.
I was just thinking the same thing. I was going to say, are they just going to run and make him coin, or are they going to get him back up? I don't know, but... Oh my gosh, we got only merch in the chat. The homie merch, he says he will gift 5 gifties if somebody gets a defib kill. See if any of the mediums here want to get a defib kill for extra style points, and 5 gifties in the chat. That's a merch special right there, defib kill.
Yeah, and now going in, Calcifer does drop the SA-12. Criminal gets RPG'd, and now that charge slam coming out. CC, Orange team. Luckily, the vault hasn't been tapped, and there's going to be no gateway in sight. It's going to be a little bit of a rotation over to this next cache. Hopefully, we see a defib kill come out from one of these teams. I'm not sure if that's going to be required for this game or if that's a running tab. Maybe I can put one of these players up to it in these next games, but otherwise, we're going to see what happens. Not sure if any of these players are going for those swag points.
Yeah, that's going to be fun to watch, especially with them trying to get a defib kill now. I call that a Merch special because that is one of the things Merch is known for, getting defib kills and clip. He's got a lot of clips out there of him getting defib kills. #1 TDM player, by the way. He did make it all the way up the leaderboard to the #1 TDM player of last season.
Shout out Merch. Huge grind for that. But now
Pink team does end up plugging here.
Calcifer making his way in, dematting into this outside area, gonna mantle up to this window, use that Q. ECO not knowing, CC gonna take an opposite approach. He doesn't know there's no windows there though, but the huge damage from Calcifer coming out with that revolver, a heavy killer.
Revolver does lots of damage, especially those headshots. Jeff Buckley does end up getting that winch in.
Looking for that defib kill. I don't know if he can find Supreme. Supreme does not want to die to a defib, that's for sure.
He was really close to getting that one too. Calcifer wants those 5 gifties in chat.
Jeff Buckley.
It's like they're just gonna go up to opt to get the swap here.
Calcifer ends up getting the flip. Jeff Buckley misses an RPG. Now a down a util. Oh, but CC evens it out. Also down a util. Gonna get that winch.
Oh, CC get the winch on Jeff. Oh, Calcifer wants it. He wants it. He gets it. The defense kill from Calcifer. He hit him with the Merch special.
Oh my gosh! And they may lose this fight just because of that. They don't have the ability to defib his teammate, but Calcifer evens it out into a 2v2 criminal. Now dives and makes it a 2v1, gets winched himself, and Calcifer not looking good. This is gonna be game. Goes to that defib kill and ends up losing the battle because of it. He's a sellout.
Man, shout out to Calcifer for getting that defib kill there. That was insane to watch. Huge plays. But he does throw the game for it.
Dang, it throws the game for the 5 gifted, but
Jeff Buckley, man, let's see the W's in chat for defib
that
kill. That was huge.
All people are crossing out and on those rooftop fights, but as soon as you get inside, it just explodes the effect that you're saying.
Yep. All right, let's get in here and see what these guys are running. I think I saw a P90 on one team here.
Yeah, we're going to be rocking a P90. I'm not sure who that was. I think it was on Crimson. Brendy going to be hopping on the heavy currently. Double winch medium from the live wires. Pink team going to be rotating in on to Vault 1. Going to be an early fight breaking out up on this high ground. Serial is going to see Crimson, but they back up, get no damage, but an early RPG getting all 3. Great RPG value from Brendy. A dome goes down, a winch as well. Brendy taking some big damage, needs to get that value out. The heals come out just a little bit too late, and now we're in a 2v2 scenario.
Speaking of these explosive fights, both teams starting out spawn pretty close together, hopping right on top of each other. P90 going hard, but Sentin's still 1 HP. He's trying to get his regen here. They do have everybody back up on the side of Pink team. Orange team still kind of hurting. Brendy just waiting for this health to replenish here. They still don't have their medium, though. They're going to get collapsed on by all of Pink team. That winch is going to go in and take out Brendy. Now it is just Zoa Zim. He ends up going down. This is the first team wipe in the favor of Pink team here. They're going to go over and see if they can plug this into Bravo.
Yeah, those heavies lumbering down towards this jump pad. Going to be making their approach to plug under this billboard. Interesting. With that double winch, they have a little bit more flexibility for manipulation. Misses the dunk. Going to have to follow it up with a layup to himself. But finally going to be setting up that C4. No winch coming out. Just play this high ground and play that drop as one would. With Orange team making the rotation inside the building. Zoa gonna use that red barrel to pre-drop that point. Might see some sort of drop and force point coming out, but we'll see.
Yeah, Pink team just kind of hanging out here, trying to get as much information as possible. Just trying to kite as much as they can. Orange team hears them, though. They know where they are. Zozim kind of stuck in between all 3 of them, though. We get some winches coming out, and Koi ends up going down. Brendy ends up following suit right after. It's a 2v2, but Zoa Zim is pretty far away from his teammate. He's trying to get back in this fight here. Crimson just running for his life, not able to make it out. Now it's only Zoa Zim. He's getting turned on by Koi and Serial. Ends up getting taken out, and Koi, Serial, and Scented get to keep this cash out for themselves.
Yeah, and honestly, like, Zoa got caught out just a little bit too early, was forced and scared, ran super far away from his team. He just needed to trust that Brendy was going to get that winch and just peel immediately back once Brendy took the brunt of the force. He had a great dome, a great winch, and Crimson and Brendy were able to collapse and get that pick, but Zoa just leaving so far away made it another 2v2.
Yeah, I feel like it's so hard to fight into these double heavy mediums, especially when look at how close they're playing together. I mean, they are just holding hands the whole time. They are not going to be able to find one of these out solo to get a pick on them. They're going to have to just collapse on them and get all three of them because they are all going to be fighting together. You end up
only about 20 seconds left.
Orange team really wants to get in here. Pink team goes down, another floor to play in there. Zoa almost ends up getting caught out by them, but they don't quite end up connecting. Brendy wants to get in there and fight. Zoa's still low. Serial ends up dropping for that kill, going crazy with the P90, ends up taking out Zoa. And Brendy ends up going down in the 1v2 up top, and now it is only Crimson, and he does end up following suit. First cash out in the favor of Pink team.
Yeah, Brendy jumping in there. That's the volatility of double winch. Brendy got winched once. He got winched again, getting tossed around like a rag doll. Ended up not getting that much value, but look, I mean, it's double winch. I don't think there's much you can do. It's just going to be going back and forth.
Yeah, double heavy, double winch. That is such a tough team to fight into, especially with the way they're playing. They are not separating at all. So they're going to need to find a way. I feel like you need to try to get this medium down so that they're not able to get any defibs off. But how do you get the medium down when he's just surrounded by his heavies the whole time?
Yeah, Zoa going to be able to get an early glitch that's going to get a lot of value. We get a clean kill on Sloth. Now, Pink team swinging hard. Brendy with that RPG, finding a good connection onto Koi. Scented, going to get back up, but Koi dropping shortly after that heal. Is going to try and reset their teammate.
Yeah, big RPG from Brendy there, but Pink team might turn this around. Oh, but it comes into a 1v1. Serial ends up cleaning it up. That fight was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. But Pink team ends up actually taking it and wiping Orange. So now they get to dictate where this box gets plugged again. Serial
box in hand, going to be rotating over to Charlie. Wants to go and get this plug over here. I think this is a great point because you can bring up those drawbridges. It makes it a little bit more difficult. The light has to basically put themselves out there to gateway across, but I don't think they have time to bring up the drawbridge. Just going to be going with a gateway pad. They take a little bit of a red bear. Zoa needs to gate over to that right, picking up the pad right inside, and they get a clean rotation in.
Yeah, but Zoa just going to get blasted by that heavy RPG. One of the dome shields go down. Orange dome shields go down, but they're just walking them down. That medium walking his two dogs with that heel beam leash just right at them with the attack dogs.
Yeah, and honestly, it's not looking good. Generally, one person on that orange team is a little bit just out of place, being picked off a little early. When they are together, they have a great opportunity to get picked, but as soon as the chaos breaks out, it's a little bit tough to kind of track your teammates. We see these teams getting lost. Not sure what this gateway is. It's going to be a little bit far to that gateway pad. They end up making it over.
And they end up opting in to get on the top floor. I kind of like where Pink team is playing here. They are 2 floors down, so they have lots of options for drops here, but the glitch does end up coming out. They hear the glitch, try to pre-blow up their C4, but it doesn't quite get one.
Yeah, and because they were glitching, they glitched that C4 and then broke it. It didn't do any environmental damage. Was able to get a good stall, but Brendy getting winched. No team there to help, but they do kind of have a good pincer on Pink team, but the double heavy, the sustain is just way too much.
Yeah, it's just so much health pool to get through. Serial was able to get the trade from Brendy's kill, but it just wasn't enough. Both of the heavies running in there. SA-12 doing so much damage. 2 winches. And that's going to be it for this game for Pink team.
Yeah, and I do think the double heavy worked so well in the early meta because people didn't necessarily understand the game as much. So it's a very easy composition to play going into this game's pugs. Very lucrative if you don't have that light. Really getting those glitches out, playing that perfect position can be quite tough. And Natomi Citadel, notoriously close range, makes it very difficult for that light to move around. See if it's been shortened, but otherwise, Hospital a little bit easier to cross because as soon as you use that jump pad, right on landing, you have cover blocking you from an RPG, any sort of damage that will come out there. But going into Vault 1, Orange Team gets a great spawn on this. Pink Team on the complete opposite side of the map.
Yeah, this is kind of a rough spawn for Pink Team here. Really advantageous for Orange here. They can just take the height here and just kind of look to see where Pink is coming in. Sparrow does end up spotting them. We got a Bongo, no Capcom, and Mega Guy over here on Pink. Rocking a pretty standard LMH, except for no Capcom is running Invis here. And then over on Orange Team, we got a pretty standard loadout with LMH, Dash, Heal Beam, and Winch again. Just a little bit of a standoff going on over here for the box.
Yeah, and gonna be going for that poke, but Orange Team has a great situation to get that early plug of 60s going in to get that plug over on the mall.
Mega Guy taking a lot of damage from Sparrow and Spoos over double deals. With a lot of from long here. Dying from the map there. Ends up going down to almost 1 HP. Sparrow wants to push that a little bit, but they're finally kind of getting over on that cross where Sparrow's going to head back to his team.
Yeah, and now rotating in from the other side, Pink Team making their approach. Sparrow trying to catch up with his team. A Winch bringing that out. Spoos he's setting up on the defensive, but may have put himself out just a little bit too much. Spoos taking some big damage. Sparrow also taking some great damage from no half. And now it's just going to be a 60. Sparrow left.
Yeah, they are just desperately trying to get out there so that they can try to get their heavy back up. This is such a vertical building. There's so many floors you can try to get away with. A60 doesn't quite make it out. Sparrow up on the top, though, putting in lots of damage. Bongo both 1 HP. No Capcom, excuse me, is still 2 bars, but they're going to get this swap here. Sparrow does end up taking out Bongo, though. Now it's still a 2v2. Spoos end up coins, and he's trying to get back to his team to help out here. Sparrow put in lots of damage trying to block off this res. How are you thinking, Sensoil?
I think this is pretty good. He's gonna get that res, but he gets his regen, stop that heal beam coming out in perfect timing. The pressure is gonna be on. 30 seconds left, a 60, making his rotation over, regrouping with his team. Only 20 seconds left to go. They need to make a move towards this cache. Dropping that early flip was detrimental. Going to be winching it over inside this cache room. Making the steal. I think they're going to get the flip. Bongo doesn't have any way to stall this.
Oh!
No goo in sight. Nothing. No winch. Where is the stall? Orange Team coming out top, surprisingly.
Wow, Pink Team able to take that clutch steal there to take that box at the last second. Really good goo in that doorway to block off them from entering, and they just couldn't get in there. I don't think they had RPG or they had the C4 on the point. I don't know if they wanted to spend the RPG to break through the floor to get in there. But regardless, they didn't make it in time. Pink Team's going to take that first box.
And now Orange Team going to get the advantage here. Good. Tap this box. Sparrow sending a gateway up. Also, on a side note, I think the bridge length was short, but I will have a way to verify that later. But going in, Pink Team looking commanding, taking control of this high ground. Orange Team just wants to kind of wait it out, play their time, maybe deny this hospital point.
Yeah, neither team wants their opposition to get access to that hospital point there. One of the still, I think, with after the changes, still one of the best points to defend here. Sparrow, huge damage on the Bongo. Whole team jumps up and team fires onto Mega Guy. He goes out next. No Capcom. I like that play. Punching away that box. He's going to go for the wipe. Or he's actually just sitting there in invis. They do not see him yet. He's going to maybe just wait for the pass, but he's going to try to get Sparrow. Surprise, surprise. Not able to kill him, though. A60 Can't hit him in the invis. No Capcom with the 1v1 against A60. You might get him. He's just one melee away. No Capcom taking the 1v1. Sparrow comes back up to try to help his teammate, though, but no Capcom is out.
Yeah, and now it looks like Orange is gonna get hospital. If that winch comes out, Capcom gets taken out. The plug coming in from Spoos. 2v3. Spoos taking big damage, though, and RPG does end up killing himself. Now the flip is going to come out. This is going to be a fantastic situation for Pink Team. Maybe able to swing this in their advantage. A 60 does get the opportunity to put some pressure down, but overall backs away. Not worth his time.
Yeah, really good play from Pink Team there to push in there as fast as they can and get that swap. Now A60 and Sparrow kind of on the back foot here. Bongo does end up pointing, though, trying to get back to his team. Or excuse me, Spoos. Spoos is making his way back to his team.
Spoos making his way across this shortened bridge. Going to be running over. Doesn't take him that much longer. Now, getting in and going to look to regroup with his team. He may have seen no Cap over in that corner.
Yeah, I like the restraint from A60 and Sparrow here. Not going too crazy, just kind of waiting for their heavy to get back up with them. They know where most of Pink Team is now. Spoos going in. He gets the winch, but he tries to pad out. Doesn't quite make it. Mega Guy ends up going down. A60 ends with the repeater, doing lots of damage. Now it's only no Capcom. He's going to try to take out Sparrow. But he ends up making it out with 1 HP. Still trying to stall this point. Finally ends up going down. Spoos is going to go swap this in favor of his team.
Yeah, and the flip comes out not looking good for Pink Team. I don't think they have any opportunity to get this retake. Shortened bridge and all, no opportunity. It'll be interesting to see where they spawn with this shortened bridge. The spawn maybe over in that back area. There we go, rotating over. Who's jumps off the map? A celebratory Hail Mary. Now, Mega looking for that RPG. No chance in sight.
Yeah, good game. Good game to watch, though. I don't know if Orange Team has ever played together before, but they were looking like they knew each other. I mean, it looked like they had some synergy going on with that comp in the game of the finals. I don't think the finals and Embark as a whole really get enough credit for the lore in the game. I think they actually do. You know, it's pretty subtle lore, but I think they do a pretty good job at it, in my opinion. It's fun to kind of follow along with what they got going.
Yeah, and we're going in. I think we're seeing a lot of HML. I think previously in the games that we've seen before, whenever we did Thursday Night Throwdown, our previous Pug series, we saw a lot more troll strategies. But with the rise of the 100K Major, everyone's getting really locked in on playing comp, playing a hyper focus. They just want to play the game at its peak and give themselves one of the best opportunities to win these matches, get these practice. So I'm excited to see.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think people are kind of trying to play it a little bit safe here, not do anything too crazy, because I agree with your point in it's good practice for the 100K Major. Both Dome Shield coming out on the Pink Team here. A60 trying to get some damage off. Spoos ends up going down. There's still 3 members up. Bongo taking a lot of damage from A60 and Serial, though. Jeff Buckley and Kevin kind of on the hunt, trying to get the rest of this team wipe going. Serial and A60 trying to look for that body so they can get their team member back up, but they can't quite get there. A60 just trying to play some damage here. Serial and Bongo kind of stuck in a little medium 1v1, but Serial ends up going out because he knows his teammates are coming to help him, but he doesn't quite get away. Now it's only A60 over there on orange side. Another Dome Shield coming out from Jeff Buckley. They have both bodies right there. A60 is in a pretty bad spot, but he's going to gate pack up. They hear him, though. They're hunting him down.
It's not going to be good. He's going to get winched and taken out. Meanwhile, Kevin on the other side of the map, rotating this box all the way over to A. Going to be able to get an early plug. Might not be the best situation as medium and heavy do have to rotate over. They have 10 seconds to get there. Orange Team may get a great spawn on this cash out and get ahead of them.
Yeah, and this is kind of what we were talking about earlier, about tough points to fight into. Explosive map. They really only have one cross to get over, and if they make it through that cross, which it looks like they already are with this gateway, then it's all close quarters inside the building fight. But Pick Team is taking the height here. They don't really see them coming in. I don't think they saw them.
Orange Team gonna be taking the staircase, old reliable, no elevators needed here. Now, using that jump pad, gate, invis jump pad, great play. Something I've seen a lot in the EU from Team Secret, if I'm not mistaken. Gonna be going in, Jeff Buckley goes down, Bongo goes down, and Serial goes down. Now we're in a 2v3. It's gonna be Kevin left. Gonna be going in for the fourth steal. He may find that lot white 1v1 up on that high ground, but the winch taking him out. Spoos getting off that point, great discipline, realizing how much time he has left to get back on.
Yeah, great pad play from Orange Team there. I like the thought process for Pink Team, though. They tried to counter pad. It was just a little bit too late on the counter pad, and they ended up getting beamed out of the sky by Orange Team. And they end up taking this point, but there's still a little bit of time left. Pink Team can still get in here and try to flip this back in their favor.
Pink Team going to be making their rotation back in. A little bit difficult. They do opt to stay inside the building. A smart choice, if you might think. Orange is going to be sitting up on that high ground now, making a lot of noise. Going to be taking their own pad to look for vengeance.
Yep, a little bit of miscommunication, I think, on the pad gateway here. Orange Team does end up dropping that. It does have some gas on it, though. Pink Team really wants to get in here. Not a lot of time left. Both RPGs going out. Don't really connect. Actually, Spoof still has an RPG available. Doesn't connect, though. But Bongo is hurt. He ends up going down to that P90. Serial rushing in his face, barrel stuffing him with that P90. Now Jeff Buckley and Kevin are on the back foot. They're really trying to desperately get out of there. Jeff Buckley ends up going down. Kevin ends up taking Serial with him as he goes down as well.
Gonna get that reset. Orange Team gonna be taking that first cash out in this Nsobi Citadel game. Now rotating over the Vault 2, making their approach, gonna get that tap. Where will Pink spawn is the question they're asking themselves right now.
Yeah,
Early gateway gonna come out from a 60 too. Gonna be a quick rotation. Pink Team does spawn great right behind them. But will they be ambushed right before they're able to even get through this gateway? A big RPG at 60 takes so much damage in that glitch. Now, Serial on the other side of the map. That glitch is separating him from that gateway, but doing great work. Huge damage comes out, but it's not going to be enough. I think it's just going to be a 3v1 right now. 60 does end up getting out. Bongo may find him right on this glass. Now getting scared. He does hit one shot, hits the next shot. That's what he needs to see. Serial, last one left, gets taken out. Did you see how that gateway got glitched and Serial got stranded on the island over by sea?
Yeah, great capitalization from Pink Team there, knowing that they're getting ready to set up this gateway. As soon as they spawn, they get in there as fast as they can and pounce directly on top of them. You make a great point. That glitch on that gateway probably won them that fight, turning it from a 3v3 into a 3v2, and they pounced directly on top of them.
Orange Team spawning over on Via's side. Gonna be making their approach over on the bridge, but Kevin spots him early, gets a little bit of chip damage. Nothing crazy because Serial running that heal beam, kind of the meta currently. We have seen a little bit of DMAP, but heal beam is gonna be the choice for those mediums currently. Kevin also, again, going for chip damage. Some good damage on a 60.
Yeah, Orange Team just trying to get in there now. Pink Team just trying to kite as much as they can, but they end up connecting. Both teams going at it now. Jeff Buckley taking a lot of damage, but getting healed up. Both Jeff Buckley and Spoos down. Both mediums end up trading as they were trying to get some heals out. And Orange Teams ends up falling as soon as those shots start to connect. Pink Team is going to be able to hold this point in their favor.
Yeah, fantastic. 1 minute left for Pink Team. They just need to lock this down to bring it to a cash out 3. Will they be able to do it? I'm not sure. We've seen the aggression come in from Orange Team doing very well in their fights, but that's not to say Pink Team hasn't been winning anything.
Yeah, looks like big pad gateway action coming in here. They're trying to close the gap as fast as they can. They know they don't have a lot of time on this box. The whole team ends up taking that gateway, getting over there, opening up a door straight into Bongo's face. Bongo doing lots of damage, eats a little bit of that RPG, but he's still kind of healthy. They're just trying to kite. They're just trying to get out of there. Spoos is on the hunt, though. Takes that pad directly following him. Bongo ends up dying to the pad. Unfortunately, gets knocked off the edge there. And now it's only Jeff Buckley and Kevin. They don't really have a way to get to that body, but they still have time on the point. Orange needs to flip it right now. I don't know if they're going to be able to have time for this. It does get dropped, and Pink Team does end up keeping that cash out. Now it's 1-1 cash out. They're going to go to a tiebreaker.
Yeah, and Pink Team going to be locking it down, going to game to vault 3. This fight breaking out. They did win the cash, so they're just going to take the wipe early on because it's a little bit of a hike all the way from 3 to B or D, 130 meters at least. That's basically all the way across the map. That's a hike. You get your steps in, check them off for the day.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you caught it, but I missed what happened to Bongo there. He took a pad with Jeff Buckley. They were trying to kite and get out of there. I think he might have clipped his shoulder on one of the edges there and kind of knocked himself off the edge, but it didn't matter. They still had enough time to kite and get that point.
Yeah, and now taking that gateway all the way over to D. What a far spawn for Pink Team. They'll be using that pad gateway themselves, making their rotation all the way over to D. The plug comes in from Orange.
Yeah, Pink Team is gonna try to get in there. Orange already having some pretty decent time on that point just because of the way the spawns worked out in their favor. Kevin does connect with Serial, though. A little bit of damage, but he does end up getting healed up. Jeff Buckley and Bongo know where they at, though, because of the comms from Kevin. They're trying to get in there. RPG goes out, does a lot of damage. Jeff Buckley gets the winch off on Serial, though. Spoos comes in to try to trade for his team. He does get the trade off. Now it's a 2v2. Dome shield goes out. They do have the dome shield advantage. Bongo can't really quite get in there, but Spoos peeks him and ends up getting taken out. Kevin cleans up both of those kills, and they're going to be able to swap this back.
Yeah, and fantastic fight. Pink now in control of this cash out yet again. Gonna get that flip. Fantastic fight. Gonna be looking to winch it out. Jeff Buckley setting up that C4. Gonna be using that instead of damage to opt for the setup. Winching that cash out right out into this alleyway. Creating such a good setup. Now, just needed to defend it for another 45 seconds as Orange Team gateways in. Fresh on the point. Ready to fight.
Yep, Orange Team, not a lot of time left. They got to get in there. They end up padding directly onto them. They know where they were sitting. Bongo takes a lot of damage from that RPG, ends up going down almost instantly. Now it's only Jeff Buckley and Kevin, but Jeff Buckley is in the mosh pit of all 3 of them. But they end up taking 2 down with him and Kevin. Now it's only Kevin and Spoos. Kevin's going to maybe get that kill. He dodges the winch. Great dash to dodge the winch. He's just going to delay him from getting that res, and Pink Team's going to take the game. Great plays from Pink Team.
Yeah, and as soon as Spoos used his card of that winch, Kevin and him knew it was going to be GG's.
Great plays out of Pink Team to take that W there.
Yes, W for this team. I do think the maps are generally more volatile. Bernal, Seoul, Skyway Stadium, Monaco. Those are like the X Factor maps. Those are like the counter pick maps. When I were to think of like a Smash Bros or fighting game tournament, you have your tournament standard maps like Sis Horizon, Fortune Stadium, Las Vegas, potentially Nozomi Citadel, and then your X Factor maps, your counter picks would be those long range maps. Forcing people off their general normal picks, but we do see a 60 going to be running Sniper, double Revo, big irons, and a Sniper from this team. Going to have some big damage, big burst damage come out from Orange Team.
Yeah, just a couple side notes on A62. That is a player that I have watched play a few times, and one thing I can say about A60 is they can break the mold in the meta. I've seen that player use so many different weapons, from the M11 to the sniper to the bow. I mean, they do not care about the meta. They can make almost anything work, so it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, and a 60 used to be a sword player, but given all the sword nerfs, got a little bit frustrated now playing with actual weapons. Not saying that the sword isn't a weapon. I know people have a volatile stance on it, but I do believe there was a point when it was pretty balanced and the people were still complaining about it. To be fair, I was a win champion, so not really much of an issue.
Yep, I feel that. It's It's a tough spot for balancing melee weapons. But here we go. We got a fight starting off here. So much damage coming from that sniper. Supreme's gonna end up going down. All you really need is 2 shots to connect. Big pad RPG coming out onto Wubsies. And now it's only CC winning. He's gonna try to do his best to fight as long as he can, but he does end up going down. First team wipe going in the favor of Wubsies, A60, and Bongo over on the orange team.
Yeah, now they're going to win their prize of tapping the vault. They got a little bit of a hike all the way over to B, not too far. That gateway is going to be a great way to rotate. A60 already getting there his way all the way over to this pad to rotate. But Pink Team spawning over on that museum. Not a terrible spawn for them. The vault just opens. And I do think they have added a lot of changes to these new maps. One thing I didn't know about was the Sis Horizon until earlier today. Sparrow getting taken out with the revolver by Bongo, hitting some clean shots as we go in to this fight. CC taking some big damage as well. Supreme looking for that res, resetting. Nothing too crazy going to be happening, but Supreme taking some big damage. Not a position this team wants to be in.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to be able to use that rooftop to cross coming from the sniper and an ARN and a BFR, a sniper, a BFR, and a revolver. Yeah, I don't think you're going to be able to take that rooftop, which they finally decided to go inside. There's just so much poke damage on that rooftop there. All they really need to do is have 2 people connect with a shot, and somebody is going to go down.
And now Invis, a 60, going to be jumping up, padding in the sky, going for a 360 trick shot. And Sparrow and Pink Team making their rotation back over under. Sparrow rocking the ARN, going to try and find some sort of damage as Pink Team presses in down on Wubsy. It's not looking good. Wubsy, fortunately for them, is on charge slam. Supreme dodged a winch if this team was playing the meta.
Yeah, great time dome shield out of Wubsy there to block a lot of that damage as they were coming up onto him there. They're doing a great job at just kiting around and trying to play that range. They're all using range guns. They do not want them to get in close. I think Wubsies might just use that charge and slam just to stall for the point here. We might see him use it right now as CC goes and baits the point a little bit. Takes a lot of damage from that BFR though. Bongo keeping height with that Revo. They're going to have to get in there. He's going to use it soon. There it comes. He misses. He misses the charge and slam, and Pink ends up taking that steal. That is tragic for Orange Team.
Holy, the charge slam narrowly missing. So close to blocking that timer. Misses the hit. I think if he did get the hit with a little bit better accuracy, he would have gotten stalled.
Yeah, it was a tough angle to come in, too, because he had to go through all that terrain there to get into him, so he wasn't quite sure where he was stealing from and just barely missed him. That is unfortunate mistake from Orange Team, but they're still in it. They still have a chance to reverse sweep them here on this next cash out.
Yeah, Sparrow and them now have to push their way over this next vault, jumping right on top of Wubsy. Could be dangerous, but Sparrow takes a big hit from that sniper, or the revolver, I mean. Now, Bongo chasing down Sparrow, just needs to hit one more shot. Melee, that gateway, look at this play.
Goodness.
Going back and forth, playing a tag. Sparrow using that gateway.
Still alive.
And the goo! He got his full regen, but it didn't matter. Where was his team? He bought so much time. Oh my, what spaghetti.
Holy moly, Sparrow living longer than anybody expected there, but does finally end up going down. And now the rest of Orange Team is going to collapse onto Pink Team there. I think while that was happening, Wubsies and A60 just doing such a good job holding the other 2 members of Pink Team at bay with those long-range weapons there, and they weren't able to get in and help their teammate.
Oh my god, I don't even have any words for that. That is just so unexpected at 1 HP. You could see Bongo just spam the melee button attempting to hit anything, but narrowly missing with that gateway. Wow, let's see how they set up this cash out. Whether or not they're going to be winching it over. A little bit of a fire barrel misplay, but just off to throw it away. And now Pink Team on the rotation, on the move towards C. They need to win this if they want to make their W and solidify their game on this horizon. But Orange Team has such a strong defense on this high position on this balcony. Yeah,
not a lot of ways to attack this point, unfortunately, for Pink Team. They're going to have to try to figure out a creative way to get in here and move this box. Looks like they're just going to opt to pad up and fight them. Red Barrel coming out. Doesn't end up dropping anybody. Does a little bit of damage to Bongo there. Ends up getting healed up. Does get the winch off, but it doesn't matter because Wubsies goes in with the charge and slam. Takes out CC in the middle of his winch. And now there's only Supreme and Sparrow. Sparrow trying to get into A60's face. Trying to make that sniper as hard to use as possible. And he ends up taking him down. Now it's a 2v2. Excuse me, 3v2 as Supreme does get that fib off on CC, but Wubsies is back up as well now. CC might die straight up on the fib. Bongo ends up hitting Sparrow down with that Revo. Wubsies trying to chase down CC and Supreme here. Supreme does end up going down. Now it's all 3 members of Orange, and it's CC alive. He's got to try to get out, maybe for his teammates to coin, but I don't know if he's going to be able to make it out. What do you think, Tetsuya?
Look, I mean, he used that C4 to get some big damage. Now CC needed to hit that winch on Bongo. He's going to be in a little bit of trouble, staggering himself just too long. They do eventually get the wipe. That's going to be a 20-second respawn, offering them no capability of stealing Charlie.
Wow, it was a great fight, honestly, from both teams. I feel like that fight almost could have went either way. Both mediums end up connecting with their defibs, getting their teammates back up. But Orange team does end up coming out on top. They do get this cash out to tie it up. We are going to go to a 3rd cash out.
And here we go. This is going to be going down to the wire. As 60 kills himself with a gas barrel. And, and now we're just going to beat down the street as Bongo dies again. And as 60 needs to clean up the mess. Wubsy going for that res over and over again, keeping his team alive, being the saving Private Ryan of his team.
I don't know what the thought process behind that was, but now they're in the middle of the fight. They might end up actually turning it. CC takes a lot of damage from that charge and slam. Does finally end up going down to Bongo with that Revo. Wubsy's 1 HP though. Sparrow ends up cleaning that up, and now it's still a 2v2. Supreme wants to get that fib. He does get it off. A60 trying to overwatch that with the sniper. Doesn't end up really connecting. And now they're going to push Bongo. Bongo ends up going down. It's only CC with a sniper. Sorry, A60 with a sniper and a dream ends up going down.
Yeah, Ping Team just making work, capitalizing on the mistake, unusual macro. I don't know what you call that. Maybe team trolling. I don't know. It's Pug, so it could be anything. So many reasons for maybe he thought he could swap weapons and wanted to get off the sniper, but
that was my first thought, but yeah, I don't know.
Regardless, Pink Team capitalizing on the mistake. So going into this next fight, they're gonna be sitting pretty. As 60 still using that sniper, trying to look for some damage. Doesn't hit anything, but takes some entry damage, some chip damage himself. Rotating back over, Wubsy separated from his team. Sitting back with his Bongo.
Bongo coming around here with a huge flank, trying to get some damage off on that side there. But Sparrow sees him over there, trying to counter flank him. As CC and Supreme are just keeping themselves alive over there. A60 hurt. There he comes Sparrow with the counter flank. Bongo's really hurt now, but Sparrow's alone over there. I don't know if he's... Never mind, his team ends up gating all the way in there. Now turning it into a 3v3.
I don't know if Orange is going to be ready for this. They're right on top of them. Misses the winch. Very critical winch missed. Bongo now in a fight with Sparrow. Sparrow in a great position. I do not like it when someone's in that hole. It's very tough for them to navigate. But Sparrow does narrowly get away as we look for that reset. Sniper hit on Supreme. CC did drop in the meantime. And Supreme, I guess, is probably looking for the res or just staying and playing his life.
Yeah, I like that play from A60 there. He drops the invis bomb and immediately stops moving to try to make sure that they can't see him, and ends up opening up with, I'm assuming, either a quick scope or a sniper hip fire there, which does connect, does a lot of damage. But there's still only 2 members here because CC is trying to get his way back to help out the rest of Pink Team there. Bongo taking a lot of damage, but wins the fight against Sparrow with 1 HP. Ends up taking him down. Wubsies with the help with the VFR. Both A60 and Bongo are really hurt though. This fight still could go either way. Both dome shields end up coming out. Some healing coming out onto A60 though. They're now healthy again. Wubsies does go down though to CC. And A60 with the snipe ends up taken out for the trade against CC. Now it's only Sparrow alive on Pink Team.
It is not looking good for Sparrow, but Sparrow gets the pick. Now we're in a 1v1 light duel. that pick was pivotal. All he needs to do is avoid this headshot. Sparrow gonna go for the steal. You're gonna try and bait him in extremely quickly. He knows a 60's just gonna sit there and wait, but he's gonna press up on a 60. A 60 knows this. A 60 just playing in some cat and mouse game. He hits the shot. He's going for the melee, and now Wubsy coming in from behind. Sparrow is not in a safe position, and Orange Team's gonna take it.
Wubsy coming in at the perfect time for the help. That 1v1 still could have gone either way, but it is a team game, and Wubsy comes in and clutching it out for his team. They end up taking that game.
And there we go. Orange Team capitalizing in this game. Great kills all around from this team. 7, 4, and 6. A 60 getting some great combat score with even just 4 kills. Spawn systems. I'm kind of keeping my eye out on how these spawns are working in terms of, because these players have just known tried and true on how to manipulate these spawns, blocking them, etc. So seeing a little bit of a change up in those patch notes is going to be pretty interesting.
Yeah, I agree. Let's see what we got going here. What are you expecting to see as far as loadouts? I think personally we're going to keep seeing a lot of LMH, but already proven wrong. We got a double heavy medium coming out from one of them. I think mostly though we're going to see LMH. People trying to play it safe, trying to practice with that standard team comp. What do you think?
Yeah, I think people are going to generally stick to pretty balanced team comps, either heavy double light, LMH, or heavy medium. I don't think we're going to be seeing much double medium. I think that's probably one of the weaker comps right now, or just not as fun. You have way less defensive options, sustain, and openers. Not many crazy weapons. Just having those heals is very important, though. I don't think DMAT would be something to be thing as a double medium.
Yeah,
I just don't think it's that strong in the meta.
Yeah, I would agree with that. There's just, if you're a medium and you feel like you're by yourself, there's just not a lot you can do defensively. You kind of got to just kite around and try to get as much shots off as you can. We got Pad coming out on Orange Team, though. We got the double heavy medium on Orange Team. Pad coming out, not really connecting with anybody. Pink Team kind of playing this a little bit more conservative. We do have a DMAT instead of Heal Beam over on the side of Pink. Jeff Buckley ends up going down real fast. Ends up walking right in the middle of all three Pink, unfortunately. Serial trying to do some damage. He wants to get in there and fib his teammate.
And now Serial doing some big damage. Now VZO and Spoos in a heavy 1v1. That heal comes out last second. This doesn't matter. Spoos does not care. Gonna be going in and getting that kill as his teams both peel for each other.
Yeah, big first fight, ending up taking the win over double heavy medium there. You know, I wonder with that DMAT, it might be a little bit easier to play against double heavy medium with that DMAT, because I feel like with the heal beam, you're not going to out sustain two heavies with how much heals they have. But with that DMAT, they can get in there and play a lot more aggro.
Yeah, and look at this, utilizing that DMAT for that setup. Going to be a great position to be in. They do have charge winch, so winching that inside is definitely going to be a viable strategy. Jeff Buckley gets dropped down. VZO is going to follow his teammates down to that bottom floor, using a red barrel to break open this wall and rotate out on this outside. But Pink Team is ready for it. Going to be going in, and RPG hits Bravado, looking for that second one. A winch comes out, and Scoo's going to try and capitalize on this fight, dropping a dome of his own, and now in a bad situation, going to be using that TP. Thankfully, his team was there to offer him an escape. Great TP gateway from Kevin.
Yeah, big plays from Kevin there to get his teammate out of that tough scenario, being down there in a 1v3 on the ground level, but ends up getting gateway back up to Kevin. Now both teams just kind of resetting here and figuring out a different plan of attack. They do have one winch over on Orange Team. They might try to move this box inside here, but some more goo coming out from them to try to get some cover going. Bravado looking for a pick here. Getting lots of damage with that repeater over on the Serial. Serial ends up going down, but they do get the trade over on for their team. Jeff Buckley does end up getting winched into that opposing dome shield, but the second dome shield comes out to save him. These two heavies are battling out, but he gets beamed by Kevin from the top floor. Big heals going out on Spoos. VZO trying to say, hey man, you're healing my target. I really don't want to keep them alive. I'm going to try to take care of this healing so that you can't do that anymore. But Kevin's just going to keep running away. They do not have a lot of time on this point. He's got to get back in there quick.
Yeah, it's not looking for good for VZO. A little bit too long of a rotate. That C4 is going to go off, clear out that goo, and a winch is coming out. But that charge slam ready to go. Jumps out, pulls a Hail Mary straight out that window. Now going in for the res. Gonna get that reset, but they're still in a bad situation.
Yeah, pink team playing that box really well there, knowing that they have control of that, knowing that they just need to play their lives. And now they're coming in to save Bravado there. Winch goes off and a huge repeater damage goes up. VZO trying desperately to get this res while he still can. He does end up getting it off. Jeff Buckley ends up turning on Spoos and killing him while that res gets off. And now we're in favor of Orange team to maybe get this wipe. It is only Kevin alive on pink team.
Yeah, gonna be going in. Kevin sitting up top, trying to get some shots, make something of this life. Probably best to back away, play his life, play that coin. Still got 2 and 3 coins respectively on his teammates. Gonna be able to make that easy rotate over.
Yeah, I'm surprised Orange team, they are still pushing this. They really want to get this wipe while they still can. It looks like VZO wants to go over and tap that box. Jeff Buckley and Serial both now pulling out of this fight, saying, Kevin, you know what? You're too slippery for us. We're going to let you go for now. You can get your team back up.
Orange team rotating away. Kevin just going for that res. Not going to be using those coins, even though Spoos had 3. Probably could have just used 1. Why not? It's already halfway through the game, potentially. But otherwise, he's going to opt to rotate. Got a little bit of a hike to go all the way over to Vault 2. Going to be playing this high ground. We see Spoos rotating up on the metal as his other 2 teammates rotating pretty far over to C. But I think they're predicting to cut them off. Orange team looking to probably go over to Charlie for their point of choice. Or maybe not, the fight breaks out.
Yeah, I feel like these long-range fights are going to be in favor of pink team here because they do have an SA-12 on the side of orange. So there's really only 2 members on that team that can take these long-range trades. VZO taking a lot of damage from this repeater, trying to get out there. Desperately trying to catch up to his team. That heavy movement just a little bit too slow to keep up, and Bravado pushing this, but he ends up getting juggled with a charge and slam, going down to 1 HP. But Kevin comes in with the help and gets that trade. He's going to go ahead and res him up. Serial ends up winning a 1v1 up top against Spoos. Jeff Buckley trying to reconnect with his teammate here, but he runs right into both members of pink, gets a big winch onto Bravado, ends up going down. Now he's got to get Kevin. Kevin trying to get away. He's got the RPG out, though. Doesn't quite connect. Kevin's still not able to make it out. And they do get a team by now. Orange is going to be able to dictate this plug here and move this box around how they want to.
Yeah, and this plug is going to be a great situation. Going to be able to manipulate it if they want to. They have that winch in hand, but instead going to be setting up some pyro mines on this point and then zip lining up to this high ground.
Yeah, we'll see. This is going to be an interesting one for pink to attack because I feel like, especially with the charge and slam on orange side, this is a pretty good box to defend and get this high ground from. Even if they do end up dropping it, they're going to have to winch it around because that charge and slam is going to come straight through that ceiling onto that bottom floor. They do end up dropping it. See if they move it around a little bit. Here comes the winch to move it around. VZO just waiting up there on the top ropes. Here comes the... Oh, he padded, but no charge and slam. Interesting enough, as they hopped off the point. Now they're just trying to look for a fight. Jeff Buckley does get the winch onto Spoons. Spoons ends up going down, but Bravado and Kevin in the 3v2 ends up helping their teammates. And now it's only VZO trying to get as much value out of that charge as he can. Only connects with 1 player, though. Ends up going down, and pink team with a really well-played team fight ends up swapping this cash out back into their favor.
Yeah, and that's going to be integral for them. Only 45 seconds left on this cash out. I don't think there's much we can see from Orange Team in capacity to win this fight. They need to swoop in, get an early pick, and just pray, essentially, because that C4 winch is going to be a deadly combo. But on their end, they do have charge, they have the double dome, they have the sustain, the health pool to make it work out. They're just going to drop in, you need to shoot out that, but they're going to use that dome to block it. Going to be going in that glitch, coming on full force. He's on it with low HP, taking some big damage. Not going to be enough. That winch comes out. BZO going to RPG himself, realizing it's going to be the end of this story on Las Vegas Stadium today.
Yes, well played for Pink Team. Ends up taking the game. Yeah, man, I don't know about you, but there's some pretty heavy advantages to running double heavy medium, but I think there might be even heavier disadvantages to running it because you don't have glitches. It feels a lot worse if you do end up getting glitched, especially if your heavies are too close together and they both end up getting glitches. Now I feel like a lot of the value from double heavy medium is in the fact that you have 2 dome shields, right?
Okay, all right, we're getting a little bit of a swap. Llama going to be going back on that heavy, running that KCP skin in full force, repping his own org.
Yeah, I don't know. Llama might have heard you a little bit. He's like, oh, man, some Soyo's talking. He's watching. I got to play some heavy and maybe impress some Soyo a little bit with some heavy gameplay here.
I think Llama's a better heavy than me. I think there was a time when I could outbest him, but Llama is very good heavy, a very good heavy. So I think I've been impressed with his gameplay. I do like seeing Llama transition away from that sledgehammer. He made it work. Llama and I, great friends early on. So great to see him evolve beyond that and really come into his own.
Yeah, I love that. It's been fun, especially sticking with the scene. As long as you have seen these players evolve into who they are today has got to be a great feeling. But we have this fight exploding out now already. Both teams, so much healing coming out from both teams there. Big C4 from Llama ends up taking out Supreme, but Cafaneo took out Crimson already. Sented's going to end up taking out Koi. Now it's only Cafaneo trying to do as much damage as he can to make sure they don't get that res. But it doesn't matter. Crimson ends up hitting them with the CB1 repeater. And the first team wipe ends up going down in favor of Boundless.
And now rotating over Orange team, sitting pretty on cash out B. Nothing crazy, not too long of a walk all the way over there. Gonna make that fight worth their while. Pink team just spawning in right now over right where that fight broke out, making their way back in. Supreme leading the charge on that light.
Yeah, we'll see what their plan of attack is here to get in to this cash out. They are slowing down a little bit. Looks like they maybe saw somebody, maybe didn't. I don't know, just getting some shots off, maybe trying to hit the C4 on the box, maybe from where they are. But look at Orange team just all completely holding hands on top of each other, making sure they're in their perfect little hiding spot, making sure they're not making any noise at all. But they do end up getting spotted. Lots of damage coming out onto Llama. Winch not able to connect. The goo does end up going out. And now they're just going to try to reset here. Both teams kind of stuck on either side of the goo. Big RPG going out onto Orange team, though, from Cafaneo. Cafaneo trying to push in with the winch. Misses again. Lots of goo stalls coming out. Orange doing a really good job of just playing time here. They don't really want to fully commit to this fight. They just want to keep moving around and playing this time on this box. Pink team's got to get in there quick. What do you think, Sosoyo?
Yeah, Pink team's about to go steal this point, gonna drop that C4 and put this in this awkward situation. Llama looking ready to capitalize with that RPG, holding it out. Now, Pink team sitting above, 30 seconds left, needs to hop on it. They go for the steal, using that healing emitter, staying relatively healthy. Now, a good 1v1 coming out, missing that BFR. Titan, Calf needs to hit some shots. Llama takes some big damage. Koi drops, Calf drops, Crimson also dropping in a 2v1 situation, but it's not going to be enough because Llama and Sloth cleaning up Supreme.
Wow. Great plays out of Orange team there. I really like the way that they didn't want to get too aggro there. They didn't want to commit too much to the fight. They know that they still have control of that objective. And objective wins games in the finals. You don't really need to focus on kills that much, and these guys are here to prove it.
Yeah, I agree. Now vying for position. Both teams about to cross their bridge on going in to collapse onto Vault 2. Supreme looking for some entry shots. That healing ball gonna mitigate as much damage as it can as they make that rotate. An early tap is likely going to come out as Pink Team sits a little bit up on this high ground, just 2 floors above them. Llama going to stair climb, maybe getting ready to shoot if he does see anyone. Tries to go for that winch. Both winches coming out, missing. And now Calf, Supreme looking for an off angle on this window while Boy kind of baits his footsteps, looking for that heal, that regen. Healing emitter and that heal beam doing so much value, but nothing crazy has broken out. Just a little bit of a util usage early on. Big shots coming out. Crimson Scented gets taken out by Supreme on the off angle. Now it's a full team fight. Everything's going down explosively, and Pink Team ultimately takes the W there.
Yeah, it's crazy to watch, especially when there's BFRs in the game and CB repeaters. It's just so much burst damage. I mean, you peak one time and your entire health pool is just gone. It's crazy to watch these team fights. But it looks like Pink is just going to go over here and they're going to get this plug in on Alpha. We do see Orange spawning over there in, that's Museum, correct? Over there, Museum?
Yeah.
They're going to make their way over. Yep, they're going to gateway back up onto Height there. Where do you think they're going next, Soil?
Now we're going to be sitting on this satellite. It's a great head glitch. Supreme does know that head glitch on that half wall. But I don't think Orange Team wants to deal with anything like this. They know it's in a bad position, but Crimson taking so much damage. Supreme may be looking for that damage in that kill. Crimson just kind of stuck over there with that 1 HP as Llama and sent to try to make something work on the opposite side of this building.
Yeah, both teams just trying to connect here. Llama just going straight for the... Oh, it actually ends up being a bait because they do end up connecting to Crimson. Crimson goes down. He needs to go and try to get as much damage out as he can because he knows that Cafaneo is hurt. Cafaneo taking the gateway, though, trying to get away, but not able to make it. Supreme now 1 HP. He opts just to go for the wipe because they know if they wipe now, they are going to have a little bit more time to do one more push here on this point.
How'd they get that wipe? It was a 2v3 situation. They just made the most of that RPG entry that Llama got, really turning the tides. I mean, realistically, Crimson was just entirely bait, collapsing the entire team on top of Crimson's body. Llama's RPG just kind of really swung that fight in their favor. Now getting the swap, but not looking good for Pink.
Yeah, that goes back to say what we were just talking about earlier, too. Crimson with that CB1 repeater was able to get even just 1 or 2 shots off before he died, but that was enough to do so much damage that the rest of his team was able to just go clean up, even though he died after that. But now they are on the defense here. Pink trying desperately to figure out how to get in there. They do not have a lot of time on this. They're going to have to make a move. They do end up dropping it. C4 ends up getting blown. Dome Shield ends up going out on Orange with the winch. Both teams trading a member, but Supreme ends up going back next. Now it's a 2v1. Only Cataneo ends up going down, and Orange Team is going to take the game.
Yeah, Orange Team making clean work of this lobby. Llama just getting so much value. Scented really following up perfectly a lot of the times, and Crimson just there right when they need him for the heals. Great job overall from that Orange Team.
Yeah, honestly, though, that did seem like a pretty stacked match. Both teams seemed like they were playing at a pretty high level. I feel like that could have gone either way. It really just came down to the wire with a couple of those team fights, and that was really what decided the match, but it could have gone either way.
Yeah, and we're getting this next lobby going. We're going back and forth. We got so many lobbies today. Everyone's very ready for full swing Pug season to be back. In this game, we see both teams running half on light, so it's great to see. And I think both teams are on HML currently. Yes. Running equal comps, dash, winch, and heals. Going into this clinic point, relatively good spawns. Very classic to see on Soul, but with this shortened bridge, Orange Team does get a great spawn. I didn't realize how impactful that would be on that spawn. Moving that bridge a little bit closer, Orange Team does race there so much quicker now.
Yeah, this might be the first match we've seen tonight where it is just straight out standard comp loadouts versus comp loadouts, LMH versus LMH, both lights being on dash, both heavies being on winch, and both mediums being on heal beam. And we do get the first pick going down on Llama. Jeff Buckley coming in with some big damage from that SA-12. But Mealy does get the fib off, and Llama ends up going down right off the fib again. Now it's only Jeff Buckley, and Aokoi is able to clean him up. As Clutch is the last member of his team, they're going to get the rest of them up and start moving this box here.
Yeah, fantastic defib coming out. Llama was able to capitalize even with half the HP as normal, fighting inside that dome, stopping those heals come out from Orange Team. Now, getting the clean rotation, using this long zip to rotate over to the other side of the map. Gonna get that early plug in as the other team spawns in and rotates. This is the point that I was talking about earlier on Soul that we don't see too often anymore. Let's see how they're going to defend this and how they're going to push it. It's really hard to push this billboard.
Yeah, you were just talking about this earlier, actually, how we haven't really seen this point very often recently. But we're seeing it now, and like you were talking about, it's going to be really hard to push into. Llama opts to drop in, though, and go for the fight. Big winch to get him up over that tube and go down on Crimson, and Llama's going to push into Jeff Buckley here, stuck in that staircase alone against 3 members of Pink Team. Now it's only Cap and AO. He's going to try to get out here. 2 members end up dropping, trying to chase him down. Llama's trying to go down the stairs to cut off his chase.
Cap and AO trying to buy as much time.
Brings Miele down with them.
Oh, wow. Staff wasting a lot of time for his team, but they still have a pretty good push. Gonna have about 45 to 50 seconds left as they respawn. A little bit of a hike, though. I think they're gonna spawn in Mall, if I'm not mistaken. There we go, making their respawn and taking their pad gateway all the way over. Gonna rotate inside this back zip. Great positioning. Gonna offer them, but that RPG is something to watch out for. Not much damage there, but does break the zip. It's very detrimental for their push. Jeff Buckley taking a lot of pressure, a lot of damage as Captain makes that jump up and gets beamed by Llama, Koi, and Melee.
Yeah, that 93R just doing so much damage from the high ground. Has a lot of access to their heads there with that extra damage, and ends up getting a pick because of it. They don't really have a lot of time here. I don't know if they're gonna just try to go for the fight here or just try to get out and get the res. Maybe just bait them in. Is it much of a bait, though? I don't know. They're just going to hop in and take down Jeff Buckley. And Crimson's just going to opt to get the wipe here so that they can get reset and get working on this next box.
The other box, box 2, going to get a tap. Going to get this started. We do have a cash out over on Hospital. We'll be able to see if these teams want to opt for this position. Not sure where Orange Team will spawn. They do spawn right on Hospital. Boy, Llama not ready for this. They're going to be surprised to find the enemy team. They probably hear the footsteps. Boy, Crimson was right under him, didn't hear anything, but Koi gets taken out, and Crimson also in a bad situation. 1 HP, putting it down to a 2v2. The res is going to come out, but some tickle damage. Looking strong with that winch. Jeff Buckley winches in, Llama takes him out, and Melee follows shortly after. That spawn being so good.
Wow, what a spawn. And we were just talking about, too, how we haven't seen a lot of Hospital or Billboard gameplay, and now we're getting both in this one game here.
Gonna be rotating over, getting that plug. Quick work from Orange Team. Now they're in a great position to hold this. Jeff Buckley looking to drop this bridge. Look, I mean, now that everything's so much shorter, there's got to be a few more ways to push over.
I also, correct me if I'm wrong too, I also feel like the bridge might be tougher to bring down as well. I feel like you got to break more, not only that top connecting part and the bottom connecting part to even bring that thing down.
That's definitely a good thing. The harder to make that bridge fall, the better.
I agree. But it looks like they're going to opt to take the crane, and they're going to use a gateway on the crane to get over there. Taking a little bit of high ground action here, but Orange Team knows that they just got to kind of kite around. Try to get a little bit of damage off. I like this. They're going back a little bit closer to the point. They kind of realized they were getting a little far away from where they wanted to defend. Pink Team is going to opt to try to break through the floor and get in there. Crimson might be caught out by all 3 of them. They're on the hunt now. He's desperately to get away. He does goo off their chase, which buys him a little bit of time to come back and get back with his team. And great gateway out of Cafaneo to reposition his team back up to high ground.
And that cash out falls off the map. That's going to be buying a little bit more time. Instantly teleports back, though. Doesn't make that long trek, that long animation like it usually does. But this fight is breaking out back into a 1v1. Life versus life. Who will win? And it looks like Cafaneo winning on a sliver of health. This is going to be bringing this down to a Cashbox 3.
Wow, another really close game here. There's going to a tiebreaker cash out. Another really close fight, too. Cafaneo ended up clutching it as the last member standing for his team, ending up taking that cash box. So we'll see what Pink Team does here on spawn. I'm assuming they're just going to try to take middle map here, maybe cut off their exit out of hospital here as best they can.
And now we're seeing Pink Team drop right on top of this heavy. A winch comes out, winching in that medium. The medium does end up winning. Sitting on this high ground, buying his time, not looking good. But they have the opportunity to rotate over now as Cafaneo jumps off the map.
Yep, Cafaneo opting to reset there so they can hopefully get a better spawn over here because the box is all the way on the complete opposite side of the map from when they were just fighting there. So we'll see if it works out for them, if they get a better spawn or a worse spawn. Here they come up now in just a few more seconds as Pink Team is getting ready to tap this box.
Getting this tap now, going to be able to hold this high ground. Where will Orange spawn so far away up on this other side? Taking a long-range engagement from rooftop to rooftop. Sitting there holding back. Getting some early damage on top of that light. Now just waiting. Camping that B point. Dion Clinic, so they have the full control of this map. Points to their back.
Yeah, we're at just a little bit of a standoff here. Neither team really wants to fully commit to this. Pink Team being in a little bit of a better position here, being closer to the box. But now Cafaneo and Crimson opt to close the gap here. They do have the high ground on them now, but the gateway goes out from Pink Team, and they are going to go up the staircase here to try to plug this box.
They get the plug. That's going to be a great positioning and advantage for them. The C4 sitting on that ground, but an RPG coming out from this team, just waiting in the same room of the cash out.
Yeah, they're waiting for, I think, maybe a surprise play coming out of this doorway here to see if they can get a winch off, but it looks like they peeked him through the window there. They know now that they're kind of going one floor under. They're going to opt to go up again. C4 is coming out. They're going to blow that down. Both teams just looking to connect here. Here we go. Fight breaking out. Big RPG. Drops a couple of them. Dome shield going out. Immediately gets glitched. Pink Team dome shield going out. Not finding a lot of value, though, because Orange Team is just going to opt to reposition here. Going back up high again. But they need to capitalize on this because Pink Team still has possession of this box. So every second that passes in the favor of Pink Team. Koi ends up taking down Cafaneo in a light 1v1 now. 3v2. Buckley's going to go up and try to get that body, though, so he can res and get this back to a 3v3. But like I said, Pink Team still has possession of this box. What do you think, Soil?
Yeah, having possession of this box is not looking good, but Orange Team full up, now able to pre-drop that. No C4 in sight, but a big RPG coming out. Buckley going to get healed back up. Dome going down relatively early. Not sure what the util looks like on Mama, but he does wait for winches. Unfortunately, gets dropped down. Jeff Buckley, no heal is coming in his way. Boy drops, melee drops.
Oh.
They do win that, and it looks like Orange Team going to take this victory on Soul.
Wow. Big fight from Orange Team there. I like the patience from them to go around, and they really wanted to dictate, we want to fight when we want to fight. They didn't get a little too aggro there. They waited. They used a lot of their util, watched that they didn't have a dome shield, and then they pounced when they had the good opportunity to pounce. And it worked in their favor. They're going to end up taking the game.
Yeah, and that's going to be a fantastic final game for our Sunday PugDays episode 1. We're going to be doing this every Sunday, 8 to 10 p.m. EST, hosted by Dread. We're going to have a lot of guest casters, bringing on a lot of good personalities into the stream. So always stay tuned for Sunday Pug Day. Dread, what do you think?
Man, for our first day back, I think it was awesome. I think we had a really good show out. A lot of people came to play. I love to see that. I'm hoping this continues in that direction. Tell your friends, tell your buddies if they want to make it up on the big screen to get casted and get some clips of themselves playing in some competitive matches and some competitive pugs. Spread the word. But I appreciate everybody for coming out tonight and watching, and it's been fun.
Yeah, fantastic. Hopefully, I can hop in some of these pugs, one or two of them, after we shut down the stream. Get a little bit back in there. I'm excited to be playing pugs, but without a further ado, thank you, everybody. Sunday Pug Days, 8 to 10 p.m. EST every Sunday. Stay tuned. Check out apesquad.org and check out our socials, apesquad.org on every platform. Thank you.